Ever in a
I would
million
never
years.
show it to
in a
dude.
million years.
Like, check out this. No way, that's for me.
I don't
That's
even
my
like
personal
knowing if she
experience.
took them before and sent me an old one.
Oh, yeah.
Those are just for me forever.
But that's not the only way to show off. Because, for example, if I'm a guy and I date you and you're beautiful, you're a 10, I would want to show you off to a friend just by being with you. You know what I mean?
I think you could be
So that's-
ugly and they'd still do it.
Like, yeah, exactly.
But, like, in the friend
you doesn't
group-
have to
in the
send
friend
each other. You can just.
No, dude.
You
or
never
maybe-
wanna show off?
Here's the difference, right?
You're also
like,
a lot older than me. I'm in college. Like these college boys, I've dated frat guys and I've seen their group chats.
well,
sure. There's
frat
differences.
guys,
Well,
Yeah,
not
but-
everybody.
they have a
also, like, I
specific
don't do that.
reputation.
Okay, well, I was in college once, and even when I was in college, I
I
wasn't
think
doing
it
it.
women's
Maybe-
thing.
I definitely
I do,
definitely
because
agree.
I think
Maybe
as a
it's both
woman we are
people.
insecure, so we are like, oh my god,
Speak
do
for
you?
yourself.
Yeah, there's no. I don't think there's
Either
any
way,
data or anything.
I-
It's
we
just
are
anecdotal.
we are a
Genuinely-
little bit insecure, so we tell our friends, hey, what do you like this guy? He talks about this and this, and oh my god, he doesn't post me on Instagram. I want to be seen. I want to be show off, so I feel safe that he's not have any secrets about me and stuff like that. So I just think it's a little
I have
woman
had
thing.
I
to
have had
be-
contentious arguments in relationships because girls are in group chats sending each other photos of dudes they've been with and bragging and asking questions, and I think it's wildly inappropriate. I don't want to date someone who would do that. If your best friend is like, "Who did you hook up with? Let me see him," and all so like that sucks. I don't want to date someone like that. It's gross.
I mean, this is all our personal experiences. I just like, because think about, men are they're so horny all the time, and I'm like, damn, no way y'all are this thirsty compared to women. Like, I think it's a lot of for validation.
We are. Men are touching themselves while they're driving. Do you understand? Like, there's no. It's so.
I think it's so dramatic. It's so extra, and I
It
think
is.
it's because they want
what?
validation.
Well, going back to this, Shane. So, I don't know about you, but like, let's say you went on a date with a girl, and your buddy happens to know that
Sure.
you went out with a girl or something. Like, I don't know about you, but my conversation with a male friend would be like, he might be like, "Oh, hey, Brian, how'd it go with Tiffany?" I'd be like, "Good."
Yeah.
We could have hooked up. We could, whatever. That's it. Oh yeah, it was good, man. That's it. I'm not gonna say like get into details and talk about the sex with the dude. That's the last thing I'm gonna share. I don't know if I'm an outlier here, if I'm just discreet. I would never share any of that info. With a girl.
Look at me.
Or sorry, with a male friend.
Yeah, look at me. I am friends with a lot of degenerate, disgusting
Yeah.
men. Like,
Yeah.
dudes who are up to horrible things. We do not talk about that stuff. It's weird. It would be embarrassing to me if a male friend tried to be like, "Dude, I was with her. This is what it was like." I'd be like, "What are you doing right now?"
Wait a second. Let me ask you this question. You guys keep talking about, but first you said that your experiences, you're not that type of guy. I agree with you. But you bring up an interesting point. You say you know scumbags, and even they wouldn't do that. Okay, that's wrong. Have you heard of the Burning Sun incident?
What?
The Burning Sun incident?
Look it up. Burning Sun incident. It's famous people, group of guys. Do you know Big Bang, K-pop?
What?
Are you gonna bring it up?
Are
bring
you
it up?
discussing revenge porn right now?
No, I'm not revenge porn. This group of guys, celebrities, they actually have a secret chat room where they send each news. Girls they drugged, girls they involuntary or voluntary into the chat room, and this is hundreds of people. And this has happened in all kinds of countries. This Burning Sun incident is a BBC documentary. You should all check it out.
Okay, but
so
But aren't
say
you the one who
scumbag, there
touched
are
the
people
man
like
in
that.
the club?
hold on.
Let me finish. She's talking about her experience, so it's valid. There are guys who do that to show off, to text amongst each other.
But you gotta understand, me and Shane are not making the argument that no men do that. There's
Right.
obviously guys that
They're
like
gross men.
share
Yeah.
like
Right,
that kind of
yeah.
stuff.
Like he
But-
said, scumbags do
gross
that. I'm just
men.
saying, please
Yeah.
acknowledge the scumbags of the world.
Okay.
Oh, there's
fine,
evil people
totally.
doing bad stuff.
But I would say, generally speaking, sure, there's men who do this. I think it actually manifests itself much more in women.
I mean, there's no
I
like
really do
evidence
think
for
that's
either.
I've
never
No, there is evidence.
No,
I
I
think they've actually studied that. I don't know if there's studies.
Well,
but it
they pull
is.
it up, but I don't think it
How many times have you guys been on a date, and before you went on the date, you sent a photo of the guy to a girlfriend? No, never.
No,
Well, you don't
wait.
go on dates.
Oh, I got one.
I sent a guy
Wait,
the photo.
I have a good one.
Your
I have a
friends,
good
right?
one. Okay, how many of you have disclosed to either a female friend or even a female acquaintance the size of a guy's penis who
Of
you hooked up
course.
with? Raise your hands. No. Be honest.
If it
Be
was
honest.
really memorable.
Be honest. Shane, have you ever disclosed the fucking pussy size, the labia size of a girl you fucked up with to a male friend?
Because that doesn't matter. Because penis size matters.
No.
Size
Pussy matter.
No, it
No, it
doesn't.
matters.
Full of
It
big labia
matters.
matter. Hashtag I only date women with
Brian,
large
bra size.
bra size.
I got my
I wouldn't-
labia off,
Oh,
so
yeah,
I do
she
not
had-
know.
I think if a girl had
I had
something
an
really
operation on
memorable, they
labia,
might
though.
say something to the other
What's
friend.
that?
I said I think the same way that a girl, if the guy, if it's real memorable, maybe they'll say something. I would never say something if it was a normal penis, but I think if a girl had something really memorable or something really crazy happened, the guy would be just as likely to say something.
I mean, if she had like, if she got
Giant
naked and you're like, dude,
boobs.
she didn't have one of her legs. Like that would be
No,
like
but, like,
something.
boobs
So
or
She had an extra
I
leg.
mean, I've encountered like interesting sexual things.
Like if she bit you or like barked at you, you'd probably say
Like
Yeah,
the
but
cat
that's-
story.
yeah.
Like the
Yeah,
cat
but most
story.
people, like, a lot of men are gonna feel like a type of way. Like if you're talking about his genitals, that's way different than like an anecdote that anybody could bite you, right? So I don't think anybody would like if he bit you and you told somebody, like. It's not discreet, but it's not like super intimate information necessarily. Although there are,
Yeah, I
You
could.
know,
I still
freaky.
think. I still think it's. But like,
Maybe they got
for
a weird
example,
fetish.
I've encountered women who are like crazily multi-orgasmic who come instantly. I would never tell a male friend that.
But you're also
Yeah.
a lot older than me, and I think
How
a lot
is
of
that?
these-
Okay, cool.
Because a lot of these it is an immature thing, definitely, and that's why I mean I'm a college girl. I deal with the college boys, and that's what they do.
Well, I don't know if like younger guys are getting more like feminine or whatever, but like at least for me, I've always been
I don't know.
discreet with the girls I date. Like it's for me, it's just a respect thing. I ain't gonna
yeah, it's,
tell.
it's disrespectful. But
I
think,
think
a lot of
yeah,
people
but
don't care.
women do that shit all the
Well,
time.
then it's disrespectful when they do it too. I haven't
Yeah,
experienced
but
that.
it's
'cause
not. I don't think
not
it's
a man.
viewed like when y'all are with your girlfriends and you're like sharing all these intimate details about like some new guy you hooked up with.
But-
you don't. None of the women in the group are like, whoa, this is kind of like sharing really intimate details.
But guess what? Women experience shame. People shame women for having sex. People do not shame men for having sex. They just celebrate.
Oh, they do.
I think they do, but I would also like to point out that you are an adult
SW,
worker.
yeah.
Yeah, and so when men sleep with you, I think a lot of the time
No,
it's
this
a
was, like, when I was
conquest.
younger.
But you've been
before I've done
doing
it.
that before since you were 18.
Yes, but I'm not gonna lie. I didn't really do that that's a recent thing, collaborating with people.
But still, if you're an SW or whatever, and someone hooks up with you, then you're more likely, by virtue of the line of work and stuff, to attract the type of scumbag man who would be like, "Yo, check this girl's Instagram. She does this, and I just hooked up with her."
I see them do it with other girls too, like my friends, all these other. I don't think it's necessarily just me. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Just slap them in
so
their face when they do that.
I guess to go
walk
back
away.
really quick and then we'll move it on to a new topic. You said that men hook up with date women to receive validation from other men and care more about how their peers see them than the women they are with. And
I think I sent that a long time
sure,
ago.
that's
but,
fine.
But
So, I mean, maybe this is true, but I do think, well, at least I think, maybe the panel agrees, disagrees. I do think it's a far more frequent occurrence in women. For example, I think women are much more likely to seek out the cosign from their friends on the guy than the reverse.
But like I said, women are like you come on here and I've seen you ask girls, "What's your body count?" It's shameful. It's meant to be like, "Oh, your body count is higher."
Wait, don't you, hold on.
But it's
hold on.
okay
No,
to
wait,
ask for a
hold
body
on.
count, but
Sorry, I got to interrupt you here. Let me engage you precisely on this. So, you object to me shaming women for their body count, which I don't really think I do.
Well, it's meant
But I
to be
bring it
asked
up.
because you say like, "Oh, like I think pretty sure you ask like, oh, like or I don't know, does it
Yeah,
matter?"
I asked
you
their
ask if
body
it
count,
matters
and
or
then we
something
talk-
like that.
sure, we talk about body count, ask them the question.
The point is, you would never ask a man and then shame them for it.
Actually, I've said this multiple times on the podcast.
Nobody cares about a man's body count.
Well, hold on. I've said this multiple times on the podcast. I'm actually not in favor of male promiscuity either.
I'm not either. I don't do hookup. I just do it for my job.
Right, but so hold on. So do you have trouble with me shaming women, or do you have trouble with you think there's a double standard?
I think that there is a double standard, and
Right,
it
but
may not
I've
necessarily
just-
be from you,
so,
but
okay.
from everyone.
I've just stated though that I object to male promiscuity
But
too.
do you know another podcast that asks men their body count hosted by a woman?
If you want to
Yeah,
start,
guys, Guys,
Call
we
her
fucked.
daddy.
Call her
Daddy.
daddy.
Guys, we fucked. I'm good
No,
friends
call
with
her
the
daddy. Bring on both men and women equally, but you guys bring on only girls. You say
Guys,
yourself
we fucked
thousands
is
of-
firstly,
one
my
out of
friend
how many?
Corinne Fisher runs that podcast. I'm close friends with her. We dated. She literally, it's a podcast about people she fucks and people who are promiscuous. It's the anti-slut shaming podcast. She literally has men on there to talk about how slutty they are. That's the whole premise of the show.
Do they also bring women on equally?
I mean, they talk to women about not sex
They
too.
talk about a lot of gossip. A lot of women, a lot of female go on those podcasts.
But they
it's
add-
not about targeting.
we're
it's not about
also-
targeting men, but this is about targeting
This
women.
is a dating
it's different.
podcast.
But why
But
is
men
it?
date too.
Why
I'm
should-
on here. I'm a man.
One how many? Do you not see
Talking
proportions?
about-
Darling, but why is
What?
it wrong for a man to ask about body count, but it's okay for a woman to ask about a man's
Dick
bank
size.
account?
I'm not asking about the bank
A
account.
bank account or anything.
That's not everyone.
I
That's
don't
also
know.
wrong.
I always ask bank account information.
Oh,
like if you don't
okay.
want to
So
ask,
That's not. You
Wait,
got my
but-
point, right? Yeah.
That's
okay.
a W for, yeah. Wait, hold on. So, where did this
We're
come
talking
from?
about
body count?
the.
But
big
we
daddy
were talking
No,
about.
so you're like, well, you shame the women, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm not in favor of male promiscuity either. I think it's different, but.
I think they're both. I mean, I think
well,
people can do what they
we can
want.
get into that, but you said hookup culture ruins dating.
I think it does. 'cause-
Annoying because no one wants to commit anymore. So if hookup culture is bad, hookup culture would be proxy for promiscuity. Promiscuity is proxy for having a high body count. So how are we going, if you object to hookup culture, we're not going to, hold on. Well, most people will say they object to hookup culture, but if you start shaming female sexuality and promiscuity, all of a sudden it's a problem. There's no way we're going to be able to legislate women to not fuck a bunch of dudes. So the only solution to hookup culture is by shaming female sexuality and promiscuity.
I think adults can do what they want to do, and personally,
But okay, then if you can just do whatever you want to do, but hookup culture bad, how do you solve hookup
I
culture?
don't like hookup culture. I don't partake in it. I do it for my. I guess I do.
So you don't want to see the world improve?
I mean, so I think that it ruins dating because personally, like I am, even before I did adult content, it was very frustrating because it's like, bro, like I feel like nobody's in relationships. I feel like it's all just hook up, easy sex.
Okay,
easy
so why don't we
access to that.
shame men and women who engage in promiscuous behavior?
Because I mean, I don't know. I feel like
What would be wrong with that?
I feel like if they're gonna do it, if they're gonna do it, and they're like, I mean, if they want to
Okay,
do it,
people are
then
going to
fine.
sell drugs and commit all sorts of crimes.
Okay, but like I'm not doing
We should
it,
try
but,
to, like,
if they want to,
create
they're
a social
an adult,
pre-
and I am. And adults are allowed to make those decisions for themselves.
But
Not,
what-
I don't want to do it.
Can I
But
say something first, please?
let's let Shane go, then I'll have
yeah.
you come in.
Shame is something that is a power you give to someone else to give to you. Like if I'm Mormon and I drink coffee and someone sees it, I will feel shame. But if you drink coffee, do you care at all? No. And so when he says, "What's your body count?" and you feel like you're being shamed,
I'll tell you right now. I mean, I don't know my.
you don't have to. I don't
No,
care.
she can tell.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. Actually, what am I talking about? It's the whole
I
show.
don't-
My bad,
I don't.
everybody.
I really genuinely don't know. But
Why? But if he asks women who come on this podcast, "What's your body count?" and you think that he is shaming them, why? If the body count doesn't matter, then they should just powerfully say
a good point.
this and then whatever. And then just move on because their sexuality is theirs. It doesn't belong to Brian. Brian's opinion doesn't affect them. But everyone seems to feel really weird and awkward about it because it's
Yeah.
almost like sex is really intimate and beautiful and essential to the human experience.
it's done to, I think, try to like embarrass women. And like I said, I don't really care about body count personally. I do adult content, and so, like it doesn't really matter to me as much. But I don't know. I think
I actually am. If a girl reveals her body count on the show and it's high, I have typically like no reaction.
I don't know it
Even if it's
exactly.
high, I'm pretty much just like, okay.
I mean, okay. I mean, it
Actually,
doesn't really matter. I think
It's
that
not about embarrassing them. I
when
mean,
you're
it's
like
just a conversation.
when you're
that-
like an adult, especially the older you get, I feel like the less it matters. It's more of like an immature thing, I think.
What do you mean an immature thing?
Because it's like I don't know. Like think about like I mean.
You mean immature to care about body count?
Yeah, I think it is kind of because I mean the older you get, the more experience you get, and it's like the more like I think that if you care about it, it's because like I mean I think it's immature. I think that
It's immature.
yeah.
I think it gets
To care about.
convoluted. I don't think it's that we care about body count. I think it's the what happens to you because of the high body count, right?
But
like
what
you
happens?
have
It
all
doesn't
these.
impact you.
I think some people may view it
sometimes
as a
it's great.
loyalty issue.
Sometimes it's
Can I really
terrible
say
and you're
something?
messed up because of it.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, it's gonna sound a little bit harsh, but I do not mean it that way. We are both porn stars, right? We work.
Do you do content with other people though?
I did one movie with the guy that I told you, but I think as a porn star, if we look honestly at ourselves, we cannot say we are against hookup culture if that's literally our job.
I don't do any kind of stuff outside of content though. I've never.
But
been
you
that kind
hook
of girl.
up with men, but you do not want to be
I mean,
judged by it. I do not judge you at all.
I don't care if people
get
judge
it.
me for it's my job.
But you cannot say I do not like it when you do it for a living.
But it's like different. I like because I'm
We
a
cannot
relationship
be
person.
like I do not like it and do it for a living. That's very
Like I'm a
a
relationship
double
person.
standard. We have to be honest with ourselves. We're doing porn. We cannot say I do not like it and do it.
I
It's
mean, I
weird.
don't want to. I don't do it. I've never done it outside of content. I don't really like
Yeah,
it.
but it's still
I
content.
mean,
It's
not
still
all car
hooking
mechanics
up.
like being car mechanics, right?
I'm okay
Some people.
with my job.
I'm not
like it.
saying that there are people in the industry who don't like it. I'm just saying you could do it and not
But
like it.
if you do it for a
sure.
living, hooking up for a living and making a movie, you cannot say I do not like it.
I feel like it's not a hookup.
the
it's
point is less
professional.
that and more that you can't be a car mechanic and then be like, dang, all these cars on the road all this time. I hate it here.
Thank you.
No,
You-
you
you
can't
got my
complain
point. You got my
about
point.
the atmosphere because I do think a lot of shame are put upon women by men and it's societal and it's caused by patriarchy. That's what I think. And to your point, you think shame is you giving your power away to someone else. I don't think that's true because as human beings, we unconsciously care about what other people think. So in order to fit into society, unconsciously we feel shame because everybody's opinion affects us. So when you call us promiscuous and when you use a negative term to describe someone who you perceive
Like
assume
for
to-
instance,
to
short.
date a lot.
Like for instance, the word short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like if so I just think that that's not true.
Okay.
That's
Like,
not
I don't know,
what-
you interrupted my thought
Go
and then
ahead,
I just
go
like
ahead.
farted.
Go ahead, keep.
My brain just farted. Sorry.
If we
No,
would
you're
have
saying
women
you're-
ruling the world, we
So-
would
so
just
you're
Shame is
saying-
put
definitely be
upon
at
us
war.
by men a lot of
Definitely
times,
we'll
and
be at
women
war.
who couldn't, you know. I think you should.
What's
be
actually
able to-
what's actually wrong with shame?
Shame
Like, what is
doesn't
actually
make
wrong?
progress. Shame and guilt actually stall your progress.
I think
What do you mean?
positive bullying
When you say
is good for
progress-
All
you.
your progress.
You would
But
improve.
so, for example, like if if actions contribute to negative world outcomes or like starts breaking down society, like how do you actually start defending against that without like passing laws? The only way you have is social pressure and shame. Like, so unless we're prepared to legislate, like, okay, enforced monogamy, which is never going to happen, really the only way that you're going to be able to combat promiscuity in both men and women is to shame promiscuity
And
in
be
men
honest.
and women.
and be
Technically, we
direct
have
and
forced
honest.
monogamy
Yeah.
because polygamy is
we
illegal.
Have, yeah, maybe we
Well-
shouldn't have monogamy. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
More so like,
But that proves your point.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
All right,
you
next
have to
thing.
shame people out of the bad thing,
Yeah.
polygamy, which is a practice that destroys communities and drives men to commit suicide and it has all kinds of other problems. But like anyway, I grew up in Utah, so polygamists are all over the place. But yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
So shame makes sense.
Chart 166, sorry that I didn't get to this immediately. This came in about 6 minutes ago. Yo, Robert Tanner, appreciate the gifted 50 subs on Twitch, man. I really appreciate it. This would be a great time. Go to twitch.tv/whatever. Guys, pull up another tab. Go to twitch.tv/whatever. Guys, drop us a follow and a Prime sub if you have one. And let's see. When's the last time we got a Prime?